Well, good morning. Good morning on the West Coast, good afternoon on the East Coast, and welcome to 30 Minutes to Better Business Results. My name's John Witt, and I'm your host. This program is really all about helping small and medium-sized business owners get better faster. We know that with the Great Recession that a lot of people started their own business. We also know that there are 53 million freelance contractors in the United States, all of which are out there trying to build their business, live the life that they want, and create a better solution for themselves, their families, their neighborhoods, their communities. So today, well, let me back up. I'm a certified focal point business coach. I'm the owner of Business Wit. I'm a published author and a recognized leader in the Focal Point International Business Coaching Organization, where we've got over 180 coaches on all 7 continents. Today we're going to focus a little bit on a model called Glaciers formula for behavioral change, and we're going to focus on this model as a component of a program called Ask Better Questions, Get Better Answers. Now, when we know this, that if we get better answers, we can design better solutions. And if we design the best solution, then the likelihood is that we're going to get a new client, we're going to get client change, or we're going to get employee behavioral type change. Right? So thanks for joining us, and if there's any feedback you can provide to us, we appreciate that. You can email us at john@businesswit.com, and we'll have that slide up a little bit later. Okay, so Glaciers formula for behavioral change, and the reason I bring this up, I did this program, I teach this course probably twice a month for different companies, but the foundation is Glaciers formula for behavioral change. And so the guy's name is David Glacier, right? And he's a clinical psychologist from back in the 60s. And it's an amazing formula that he did. And I don't think it's really all that hard. It's not all that complicated. But what he did was quantify it in a very simple process. And when we think about behavioral change, sales is a behavioral change model because I'm asking you to do something different, right? I want you to use my products or services. So don't use somebody else's products and services. Use my products or services. Or don't decide to do nothing. Use our products and services. So that's a sales model. That's a type of behavioral change. And then if we look at management and teamwork, right, where we're looking for people to get better, improve, implement new processes, expand, create new ideas, things like that, we're asking other people to come up with new ideas and stuff. Same model, right, but the results are a little bit different. So the behavioral change is going to be process-related or attitude or some sort of behavioral type related change. But what we know, what Glacier says, hey, listen, nature plays a role in all of us, right? And nature takes the path of least resistance. Always does, always have. And water flows downhill, right? That doesn't go over the rock, it goes, around the rock, right? It goes over the obstacles. And humans are a part of human nature, so we naturally take the path of least resistance, right? And so what he said is that we are, the R stands for resistance. We are resistant to change, right? And why is that? Well, because it takes more energy, takes more effort, costs money, time, all kinds of different reasons why that might be the case. However, fortunately for us, we have the capacity to change if we want to. As long as we want to change, we could do the work and we could do the effort. But the key is, what are the things that go on this side of the equation that would allow us to want to overcome change, or what allows us to be different, to want something different, to do something different. So the first thing that David said is, he said, listen, one of the reasons why people might change is because, and that's a D, by the way, is because they're dissatisfied. Dissatisfaction. All right? So if they're dissatisfied, they might be willing to change and do something different, right? You're unhappy. Some people refer to this as pain. And there have been thousands of books on behavioral change and change management that have this formula as the foundation, right? We could change the names, but the concepts are the same. Unfortunately, just being unhappy with something is not going to be the answer. We're going to have to know what is it that we would like to change to, right? We have to understand what the new state would be, and so that means we have to have vision. right? So if we're not happy about something and we'd like to have something new, right? Now those are the first two real components of behavioral change that are necessary, right? The last piece that's really, really important and can't be, and all of these pieces on this side here have to be in place. You can't just have one or two of them. You have to have them all. And the third piece of the equation that's over here is, David said, was first steps. The FS stands for first steps. So you have to know how to get from here to here. You have to know how to get from here to here. If you know how to get from there to there, you know the steps. Now, you don't need to necessarily know all of the steps. As long as you know the first ones, you could figure out what the next step is after you've taken the first one. So there's a process that we could go through that would be it. And as long as the D and the V are high enough, then we could certainly get closer and closer to our target as long as we know what the next step or the first couple of steps are going to be, right? So in this particular model, we need to understand what these two components are for any type of behavioral change, and then we can help with this first steps, right? We can help somebody understand how to get from D to B, so they could use our products or services, right? That would allow them to have a better marketing system, increase sales, generate more business, increase revenues, reduce costs. Those are all different things that we might help somebody with. Or, if we're looking at a teamwork situation and we're looking at some employees, right? And they're trying to achieve, often somebody wants to earn some more money, an increased hourly rate. So what we could do is we could help them understand, we could build a plan that allows them to get to an increased hourly rate or an increase in annual salary. So at the foundation of this, right, this comes in place so many different places, but we're going to take another step here, and we're going to say, okay, how does that relate to ask better questions, get better answers? Well, as long as we're asking questions, and that's the key, is we want to ask questions. We know that the mind actually thinks probably about 600 and some odd words a second. But when we're talking, we can only talk at about 170 words a second, or a minute, I'm sorry, 600 words a minute or 170 words a minute. So whenever you're talking, your mind is fully engaged, right? And so when we ask questions, our mind is fully engaged in the question answering process. When the person we're talking to, the client or the employee, is responding, then their mind has to be 100% engaged in the question, in answering that particular question, right? And when they're talking, right, I have the ability to my mind works a lot faster than they can talk, and I have to be able to train myself to stay focused in on what it is that they're talking about, because I could easily get distracted, right? And if I'm the salesperson or if I'm the manager and I'm doing all the talking, then the employee, the client, the prospect could easily find some time to think about other things instead of just listening to what it is that I'm talking about. So if we can get them talking more often by asking questions, we'll get more action and more access to what they really think and what they really feel. Okay, so one of the things we look at here in a structured model for helping people get where they want to go or what they want to do, the first thing is that we build a relationship. We want to build a know, like, and trust relationship. So there's a system and a model for that. That's not for today. But if we've built the know, like, and trust relationship, then it's up to us to start asking these particular types of questions. And as we ask these particular questions, we'll uncover what their needs are and what it is that they really want to try and accomplish. Now, just because we uncovered their need, it doesn't mean we have the answer. It doesn't mean that we can get all of the parts and pieces for them to become a client or to be able to take on what it is that we've asked them to do, right? Because the second component always comes up, and it's the cost. What is the cost, or what is the effort that's necessary for this particular change? Yeah, I need that. That would be really helpful. That'd be nice, but I don't know. I don't know if I can afford it. So we have to turn around and start asking different kinds of questions to be able to answer that. What does it cost, or how much is it type of question. And if we just blurt out the answer, if we say, oh, it's $1,000, it's $100, it's whatever else, then the person we're talking to is going to start to judge and perceive that amount based on the way that they judge and perceive anything and everything. And that may not be the right way to do it. That may not be the right way to really get the best answer out of that particular opportunity. So we're going to back up and we're going to say, listen, can we ask some different questions? And in the third step of the communication model, right? The first one is connect with somebody, then we got building rapport, and now we're going to look at clarify, right? This is where we're identifying needs and issues. We're going to ask questions that help us to understand the foundation. Where are they really at? Now, when it comes to the budget, we're going to have to ask budget type questions, right? So we might ask them a situation question, for example. Well, so how much? What's in your budget today? How much you currently investing? And I like the word investing a lot better than spending, right? Because investing implies a return on investment. How much are you investing today in that particular target item or service, right? How much time are you spending on that particular thing today, right? And when we find the answer to that, then we can position our product idea or thought process effectively in the terms of how they're working today, right? But if we just come right out and we say, look, it's X dollars, they may not have gone through that thought process of how much they're investing today or how much time and effort that they're spending today. So we really want to get them to put this into context. How does it relate to what it is that they're doing today? And if we come back and then somebody says, well, we're spending $500 or $1,000, we could also say, okay, so the second piece of that, so that's a situation question. The second piece of that is a meaning question, right? All right, so what does that investment mean to you? What are you getting out of that particular investment? Are you getting a return on that investment? Well, I get this, and I get this, and I get this. Okay, so now we understand a little bit maybe of what the value is of that particular investment or that particular process or that particular activity. And then lastly, we want to ask things that help us to understand how important and is it to make that particular item better, more effective, right? Because if we've established need, right, and we've established a use case, they're already doing something like it, then we just need to understand, how quickly do they want to change it. So how valuable would it be to change that within the next few days, week? How important is it that you would like to make that more effective, make that better? What would that mean to your company? And is this something that you would want to start in the next day, week, month, etc.? So the third step in the process of identifying of the communications model is identifying needs and wants. And we want to use questions to do that. And those questions are situation questions, meaning questions, and urgency questions. And when we've done that, we'll be at the point where we can actually begin to present a solution, right? So we haven't talked about presenting a solution at all. We want to make sure that we understand thoroughly and completely all of the components of what our target is looking for so that we can build a solution that matches exactly what it is that they're looking for. If we can match exactly what they're looking for, then the likelihood of them accepting our request or accepting our recommendation goes up significantly. So when we talk about asking better questions, if we're using questions to ferret out the information, we can then position our solution in a much better pattern. So that's why we talk about this program as Ask Better Questions, Get Better Answers. All right, so we're not going to go on too much longer today. I'm going to tell you that we're going to have some more information on this program, Ask Better Questions, Get Better Answers, and if you'd like, you can reach out to our website. We've got some information on this. We're happy to send it out to you. It's actually a full-day workshop that covers attitude, the Glaciers formula information, behavioral style change. It talks about identifying different types of styles and actually goes into all the different types of questions, whether it's identifying needs or presenting the solution or overcoming objections. All of those things get covered in this particular workshop. So I want to share with you that we're going to go on vacation next week, and so there will not be a Better Business Results show next week. It's spring break, and so we got a little vacation time that we're going to go on. We'll be back in 2 weeks on April 16th, and we're going to have Roy Moss. Roy Moss is the owner of Empire Business Solutions, and Roy is going to talk about whether now is the time to sell your business, and if it is or isn't, and what it is that you need to do to get better and get better prepared to be able to sell your particular business, right? So thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate the time thinking about Glaciers formula, and this was just a quick little run through of how you might use this effectively at generating change for your business or your particular clients. If you have any questions about this, please give us a call. We encourage your feedback, and we'd just like to hear from you and understand our Are we delivering the kind of value and information that you'd like to have? Thanks again for joining us. My name's John Witt, and have a great Easter.